Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ellie, and first off I just want to say please ignore one, how messy my bedroom is. A load of books just fell off my bookshelf and I can't bother to put them back up, and secondly I know I look a bit of a mess right now, but I have done 3 early starts at work. Monday and Tuesday I started work at 6 in the morning, and today I started work at 5, so I've been getting up at like 4 in the morning and I've had no sleep and I'm really tired, so I just look a bit of a mess right now, so I do apologise, but I wanted to film this video and get up as soon as possible because I have never done a reading wrap up, I don't think, on this channel, and it's something that I want to get into monthly, so I thought I would just tell you about the books that I read in October. And I read 9 books in October, which I think is pretty good. I think that's one of the best reading months I've had so far this year. So I'm just going to get on and show you the books that I read this month. So 4 of these books are all part of the same series, so I'm just going to talk about them all at the same time, and they are the Gallagher Girl series, and I read the last 4 books in the series, which are Don't Judge a Girl by Her Cover, Only the Good Spy Young, Out of Sight, Out of Time, and United We Spy. And I started off this series in September and I read the first 2 then, and I finished off in October, and honestly I didn't really enjoy it. I found that I enjoyed the books less as the series went on, but I didn't want to not finish it. Like, I knew I had to finish the series just so I could say I have, and I honestly didn't really enjoy this. I found it was just a bit cringy and I could kind of guess what was going to happen in every single one of the books, and I've read a few of the reviews on it and a lot of people are saying it's better than Harry Potter, and honestly I don't even know how you could say that. I know everyone has their own opinion, but maybe it's just because I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, but I don't know, these just weren't really my thing. I didn't enjoy them. I think maybe if I had read them when I was about 12 or 13 I would have absolutely loved them, but maybe I'm just a little bit too old for this style of book, but I didn't really enjoy these. And the next book I read is a Vampire Diaries book, and this is The Fury and the Reunion by L.J. Smith. And again, I found the same thing with this as I have with all of the other books of the Vampire Diaries I have read, that it's a good story until it gets to the end and it kind of speeds up and then it just ends, and it kind of doesn't really build up to the ending. It just kind of has this big flashy ending and it doesn't really make sense to what happened in the story. I did enjoy this one though. I think it was one of my favourites of the whole series that I have read so far. However, it still wasn't the best. I think a lot of the books I read this month I've either absolutely loved or absolutely hated, and this one wasn't one of my favourites again. And then I read An Abundance of Katherines by John Green, and I'd wanted to read this for ages but I just never really got round to buying it or trying it, and I saw it in a charity shop, so I thought, you know, if you wanted to read it, so you might as well get it, and I enjoyed this a lot more than what I thought I was going to. I found most people absolutely love his books, and I've read a few and some of them I've liked and some of them I haven't really liked as much, and this one I did enjoy. I think my favourite of his is still The Fault in Our Stars, but this is definitely my second favourite so far. I didn't really enjoy Looking for Alaska, but yeah, this was quite good. It wasn't what I expected it to be. Like, I don't quite know what I thought it was going to be, but this wasn't what I thought it was going to be, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know if anyone else has ever done that and you have expectations and how you think a story is going to go, and then you read it and it's complete opposite. But I don't know, I enjoyed it and I would definitely reread this, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. I think a lot of people have read this, but I would recommend this if you like John Green, and again, it was quite an easy read. And the next book I read when I was younger. I remember I got it out from the library and found it in a charity shop, and I'd actually wanted to reread it for quite a while, so I bought it, and that is Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman, and I absolutely loved this book. I really enjoyed it. Again, it's different to the usual, like I've said a million times, like I feel I'm starting to drift away from that now, but my type and style of reading has always been teen romance novels, and this isn't, I mean there's a bit of romance in it, but it's definitely not a romance novel, and I'm definitely starting to move away from that kind of story. But this, I enjoyed it when I first read it and I still enjoyed it again this time. Even though I knew what was going to happen, it still wasn't boring for me and I still enjoyed rereading it. And I like the whole idea of the story, and it's not in any way like, if when you read it for the first time, it's not like you can guess everything that's going to happen, and it has lots of kinds of twists and turns in it, and all of the characters have different backstories to them that are just so different, but like it doesn't get confusing about the amount of characters there are. And each chapter there's 2 main characters, which are Callum and Seffi, and every other chapter is told by Callum, Seffi, and I think that really added to the story of it being told by two different people, because obviously one's a nought and one is a cross, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed this and I loved the way that it was written. So the next book I read was definitely my favourite read so far this month, and I read this whilst I was away on holiday, and that was After the Fire by Will Hill. And again, this isn't at all what I expected it to be. Like, I don't know what I thought it was going to be like, but I just really enjoyed this. So the main character, Moonbeam, lives in what I don't know what you would call it, but they call it the base, but it's basically like this community of people that live out in the middle of the desert, and they have no contact with the outside world, and they believe that God is kind of telling everyone what to do, and they are religious, and they believe that everything that they are told from God is what should happen. And there is the main man who is kind of in charge of the group of people. He says that he is the Lord's messenger, and he basically controls them and tells them what to do, and he tells them it's the Lord telling them to do it and not him. And this is told after the fire, so basically there's a fire. I don't think that's really going to give too much away, you can tell that from the title of the book. But the story is told from Moonbeam's point of view, and each chapter, like Noughts and Crosses where it was Callum Sevi, this is before the fire, after the fire, before the fire, after the fire. So the after chapters is when she is out from this, I don't know if you'd call it a compound or a group, she's just out of the base as they call it. And then the before is her sort of what happened while she was living there. And there is a lot of character development in this, and you really see her grow and how her choices and her decisions and how she thinks about her lifestyle changes as she grows older. And I just absolutely love this book, and I would definitely recommend this. It is very different to what I'm used to, but I'm glad of that. I'm definitely getting away from my usual teen romance books, and this is just a book I really loved, and I would definitely reread it, and I would definitely recommend this. And I'm really sorry that I'm really bad at describing what happens in these books, but I don't want to give away too much. But this is definitely a very good read, and I would really recommend you trying it. And then the final book, which I actually read pretty much all of it yesterday on the 31st of October, was Girlhood by Kat Clark. And I had high expectations for this book. I'd heard a lot of good things about it, but I didn't really enjoy this one. I felt it was kind of a bit of a pointless story, if that makes sense. Like, there wasn't any real point to it. It was just basically kind of this girl's day-to-day life at boarding school, but there wasn't anything, like, there was no big plot twist, and there was nothing that made you think, oh my god, and nothing that made me want to have a second book in the series or anything like that. I didn't enjoy it, and I just felt it was a bit of a flat read, and it didn't make me excited. I don't know if anyone else has read this and found that too, but I just found it a little bit boring, and I did want to give up, if I'm honest, but I can't give up on a book once I've started. I have to finish it. And I think the best part of this entire book is basically the cover, just because it's a bright pink and I love the colour of it. And yeah, if it didn't have this cover, I probably wouldn't have picked it up, because that's what drew me to it. But I was a little disappointed with this one. So that was all of the books which I read in October. Hopefully I will have just a good of a reading month as I did last month, but I have a pile there. Pretty much half of that pile behind me is what I'm hoping to read in November, so we'll see if I manage to read that much. But yeah, I'm sorry if this was a bit of a rambly video, but I just wanted to get this up. And yeah, those were all of the books which I read this month. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books and what your opinions were on those, because I love finding out what other people think. Like, if you hated a book, like, and people liked it, or if you loved a book, why people hate it. I just find it really interesting. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you did enjoy it, to give this a thumbs up, and you should definitely subscribe as well, because I really want to grow my little corner of the internet, because I love making videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you next week with my next video.